The night the widow met the lone cowboy, the wind itself seemed to hold its breath. You can almost hear the creaking porch boards and feel the cold desert silence. I want you to picture this moment, because nothing about it felt ordinary. She had buried her husband weeks earlier, yet danger still knocked on her door. Then a shadow stepped forward, tall, calm, and carrying secrets in his stance. He spoke softly, yet every word landed heavier than a gunshot echoing nearby. "You've never met a man my size," he whispered, eyes scanning the darkness carefully. Not boasting, not threatening, but promising something she did not yet understand. And right here, my friend, is where this story truly begins to tighten. So lean closer, because what followed changed both their lives forever. The widow had learned survival the hard way, with grit instead of comfort. Every sunrise meant another test of strength, another reason not to surrender. Her ranch stood alone, miles from town, surrounded by rumors and lawless men. People said a widow couldn't last long out here without protection. She heard those whispers daily, but she refused to bow to fear. Still, that night felt different, heavier, like fate approaching on horseback. The cowboy removed his hat slowly, revealing eyes hardened by endless trails. You could tell he had seen things most folks never survived. He wasn't there by accident, and she sensed that instantly. And you and I both know instincts rarely lie in the Wild West. He explained that trouble was coming, the kind that doesn't knock politely. Outlaws had marked her land, believing grief made her weak and careless. The cowboy had crossed paths with those men before, and lived to remember. He spoke plainly, as if warning a friend rather than impressing a stranger. "I don't scare easy," she said, lifting her chin despite trembling hands. That earned a small smile from him, respectful and strangely reassuring. He admired courage, especially when wrapped in quiet determination. The wind carried distant hoofbeats, confirming his warning was no exaggeration. This wasn't a story meant to end peacefully by sunrise. And at this point, you can probably feel the tension building too. The cowboy stayed, not because she asked, but because he chose to. He checked the perimeter, moving with purpose, every step measured carefully. You could tell this man knew violence but never chased it recklessly. He showed her where to stand, where to hide, how to stay alive. "Let me show you how it's done," he said, calm as desert stone. Not like a hero in legends, but like a man shaped by necessity. She watched closely, memorizing every move, every quiet instruction. In that moment, fear slowly turned into something steadier and stronger. Trust doesn't arrive loudly, it grows in silence and shared danger. And that bond was forming right before our eyes. As night deepened, lantern light flickered like nervous heartbeats inside the house. They spoke of loss, not dwelling, but acknowledging scars left behind. The widow admitted loneliness weighed heavier than any physical burden. The cowboy listened without interrupting, something rare among hardened men. He shared little of himself, yet pain lingered behind his careful words. You could feel two broken paths briefly aligning under the same stars. Outside, shadows shifted, reminding them peace was only temporary. The cowboy's hand hovered near his holster, trained by years of survival. Every sound mattered now, every second stretched longer than the last. And just when silence felt unbearable, the danger finally revealed itself. Gunfire cracked through the night, shattering the fragile calm instantly. Outlaws rushed in, confident numbers would overwhelm a grieving widow. They underestimated preparation, experience, and a man who never panicked. The cowboy moved fast, decisive, protecting without hesitation or cruelty. He didn't fight for glory, he fought because it had to be done. The widow followed his lead, stronger than anyone expected her to be. Together, they turned chaos into control, fear into focused action. Shots echoed, dust rose, and the night bore witness to resilience. When the smoke cleared, the outlaws fled into darkness and shame. And standing there, alive, felt like victory enough. As dawn approached, silence returned, gentler than before. The widow realized she had survived something meant to break her completely. The cowboy prepared to leave, already slipping back into wandering solitude. She asked his name, finally daring to cross that invisible line. He gave it quietly, as if names carried weight he preferred avoiding. They shared a look filled with unspoken understanding and respect. No promises were made, and none were needed. Some encounters change you without needing permanence. He mounted his horse, the rising sun painting him gold. And just like that, he became part of the land again. The widow stood taller that morning, different than the night before. Loss no longer defined her, survival had reshaped her spirit. She knew danger would return someday, but so would her strength. The cowboy's lesson stayed with her, etched deeper than memory. Out here, resilience mattered more than reputation or brute force. People would talk, but she no longer feared their judgments. She had faced the darkness and remained standing. That kind of victory doesn't fade with time. It becomes part of who you are. And that, my friend, is the heart of this story. Now, if this story pulled you into the dust and danger, let me know. Drop your thoughts in the comments and tell me what stood out most. Don't forget to like the video if you felt the tension. Subscribe for more Wild West stories filled with grit and heart. And share this with someone who loves legends born from survival.